Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And I hope you guys are having a good day. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe and all that good stuff. So, we talked a lot about what's going on in America in terms of race and equity and opportunity. And also, you guys know on this platform, we always talk about entrepreneurship and things like that. And this is a great family that has really done a lot in terms of entrepreneurship. I have the entire family here, which is great because it's a great Black family business, and they have a story to tell. And I'm not going to try to tell their story. I'm going to let them tell their story. Now, help me know, make sure I say this correctly. Ashtae, ASHTAE.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Now give me the full name. Would that be Ashtae Hair Care Products, or what's the full name of that?
Ashtae Products Inc.
Ashtae Products Inc. Okay, and Greensboro, North Carolina, is that your home base?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. All right. And so today I have Mr. Michael Woods, his lovely wife Ramona Woods, and his brilliant young daughter Taylor Woods, who's now the CEO of Ashtae Products Inc. And they I talked to Mr. Woods yesterday. He told the story that I think other people can hear. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow Mr. Woods to begin that process of telling that story so that we can all be briefed on what's going on. So Mr. Woods, did you want to go ahead and get started?
Yeah, thank you so much, Boyce, for inviting us on the program. I think your program is absolutely one that speaks for the people and speaks to the people. And we have a lot in common. Not only that, you were in Syracuse, New York. My wife and I, we worked in Syracuse, New York for 7 years. We service all the beauty salons. If you lived in Syracuse, you probably went to Collins Barbershop there in Syracuse.
I've heard of it. Now, I ain't had hair in a long time, but I have heard of Collins Barbershop. Yes, I have.
All right. So, but we've been in the hair care business for almost 30 years. And on top of being in the hair care business, we have been very successful at it. We've grown our business. We've grown a real estate portion of our business as well. And in 2011, we started a television network entitled Black Network Television. And it was a local television network that was designed to really show the excellence that exists within the African-American community. And that was our main purpose. So we didn't have any baggy pants showing. We didn't have anybody getting shot and killed. We showed the excellence that existed. And we began to put together different shows and projects. And we were in the process of producing a major television sitcom. We had a lot of A-listers on that project, and we were already rolling. So we created the studio. We were broadcasting to over 2-3 million people. We were really rolling along when we began this process. And I think the city of Greensboro saw that we were really serious because we invested our own money in this project to build the studio out. We own a building that's 47,000 square feet, sitting on 5 acres. We've owned that building for the past almost 15 years. So we created a studio within our campus, and we have a variety of other businesses on that campus: beauty salons, barbershops, nail salons, bail bonds, accounting firms. So we have a plethora of businesses that's on the campus. But the city saw that we were doing very well, and so they said, well, hey, if you are going to produce a sitcom, we want to help. So I began to continue to do the research, and I found out that we had a very good idea. We had already started the process. I met with major networks in New York, in Florida, in California, Chicago. I met with a variety of different networks. And so I was going through the learning process of understanding the market, and had some really good teachers as well in the process. So moving forward, we found out that we needed to improve the what they call production value. And when you say production value needs to be increased, you need somebody who knows somebody in the shows. So of course, that's a higher expense. So we came back and we said, well, hey, we have enough money to get this thing rolling, almost 70%. However, the city has said they're going to come in and help us the rest of the way. So we had invested about $1 million in the project. The city came in and said, well, hey, I'll put in $300,000 because that's what our need was to be able to complete this project and pull it to fruition. And so we went through the process, whatever process they have.
I just want to clarify. I just want to clarify one of the language that my husband's using, that the city came in with 300. They didn't. When you say it came in, it almost sounds like it's a grant, that it was free money we were requesting, and that was not the case. It was a loan that we were going through the process of getting a loan. It wasn't a grant, and it wasn't free money. So I just want to make sure that's clear.
Okay, good. Thank you, honey. And so they then went through the process of approving the $300,000 loan. Went before the city council, made our presentation. Great. They approved the $300,000 loan. Lo and behold, less than 30 days later, there was just this shift. You ever had the atmosphere just shift on you? Yes, I did this, but hold on a minute. And they came back 30 days later, almost 30, 40 days later, and they rescinded on the loan. Now, we're already out there. We're already obligated. We already done put our money in. We done called the green light. We're flashing and dashing to make it happen. And then they pulled the rug underneath us. Well, that shut everything down, because if you don't have the finances to finish a project, then it's no good. So here we then are caught in the midst of saying, hey, what happened? They then explained to us, they said to us that we can't do this loan because you don't have enough equity. Well, the loan was $300,000. We put a piece of property up, personal property that we own, that's worth $1 million, but had $500,000 in equity. So we're asking the question, where is it that we don't have enough equity? When you ask for a $300,000 loan, you give them $300,000 worth of equity, what's the problem? They then come to say that we don't have we have a third lien on the property. Now, the original agreement was to take another piece of property on it that also had a third lien, so a third lien was never a problem, and use that property as collateral, but it only had $200,000 in equity. So we used a piece of property that had $300,000 or more a piece of equity. We have more than one property. Then we turn around and they say, well, it has a third lien on it. And we're saying, well, what's the problem? The lien amount doesn't matter if you're getting exactly out of the property what you have as a loan back. You can't take all my property and then say, I don't have a third lien. A third lien is not good enough. But that wasn't just the crux of it, Boyce. They then say to us, well, we can't do it because it's a third lien. We then find out through due diligence and research, you've done third liens before for white companies, for white individuals. What are you saying that you can't do a third lien on this deal when this deal exceeds the amount of equity you've asked for? We have excellent credit. We have cash flow that we had taken a network that had just started in 2011. And in less than 24 months, we were doing over $500,000, close to $500,000 in revenue. In 24 months, in an industry that we had just gotten into. So we had the sales ability, we had the mentorship around us. So we had to fight this thing because we're saying, if this can happen to us, and we have the resources and the wherewithal, what happens to middle America? What happens to the minority business owners that don't have the ability to fight? So that's when we hired Willie Gary's attorney firm out of Florida, and he came to represent us. And we put this before the city, say, okay, if this is the way that you all want to treat African American and Hispanic owned businesses, then we got to fight this thing, because it's just not right when you have done it for white businesses. And I could see if we were someone coming to them begging. That wasn't the case. We were an established business that had won many awards in this city on a state, local, and national level. So we were not people coming to someone saying, please give me a handout. You said you wanted to join us to help this project come to fruition. We would have scaled back had we known you were not serious about joining us. So to take it further, we then
well, if I could just say something, Michael. One of the reasons, perhaps the main reason why we felt that we had to file a suit was because here we are. I happen to be from the Dominican Republic, born in Puerto Rico, Dominican parents, you African American, but we have been in this community for over 25 years. And we teach credibility, how to have great credit, how to handle your money properly. It's what we do. And our credit was so good. It is that good again, but it was so good back then that we were carriers of the Black American Express. You don't just have a Black American Express just because. You've got to really be solid with your credit, with your name, in order to qualify for that particular card. And what happened when the city reneged, they didn't just say, oh, we're not going to do this. They put our name in the gutter. They mentioned to the citizens of the city that they did their due diligence and they discovered that we were lying. And that was not the case. So when that was stated, then every bank in the city was afraid to touch us because they thought, okay, maybe there's something about them that we don't know. So that put us in a position where we were not bankable. And you have no idea what it feels like when you have literally bootstrapped all your life and then you cannot even borrow $50 because your name is in the gutter. And that's what happened. And we were forced to file a lawsuit against the city of Greensboro. Now, when we went to the court and we were in front of the local judge here, what is probably the most painful to me is that I have witnessed and experienced systematic racism. And what I mean by that is when the judge threw our case away, the paper just said the city won. But they didn't say the whole truth. The truth was that the judge threw the case away because we could not prove that we were Black. I mean, you think about this. Had the citizens of this great city that I love so very much, if the citizens had known that the reason why the judge threw the case away was because we could not prove that Black network television was Black, there would have been an uproar. But because there is this systematic racism, this institutional racism that exists, then that's what was put out. And of course, every citizen believed that we were just not honest people. And we've had to live and fight this since 2014. This has been a fight that has been going on for 6.5 years. So it's you know, I try not to get emotional, but we keep fighting, because if two individuals with a $1 million home, with a 47,000 square foot building, with a very profitable business, with carriers of the Black American Express, with great credit. If two minorities cannot qualify for a $300,000 loan from the city of Greensboro with those credentials, who in the world can?
Right.
Who can?
Let me jump in and ask, and everybody, if you, in case you're wondering, I'm speaking with the Woods family. They created a Black family business called Ashtay Products Inc. Is that correct? Did I say it right? Okay.
Yeah.
Ashtay Products Inc. They also created Black Network Television, and they're dealing with a situation in Greensboro, North Carolina that I thought was really interesting in that it seems to show something that just doesn't quite add up in terms of, you know, why it would be so difficult. I mean, you know, because the whole country's been talking about this lately, right? Just lack of access to capital, how many Black businesses out there are starved to death. And everybody in the chat that's watching, you know, let us know if you've had that same problem, you know, because I would say that the number one problem for a lot of businesses is just not being able to get the capital you need to expand. And you know, so at the same time, you'll hear about these, you know, these entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley getting, you know, $10 million on an idea that isn't, and you've already got a profitable business. Ashtay products are already out there. They're already selling. And, you know, and can't even get the basic. I mean, $300,000, in case anybody's watching, I mean, that's not a ton of money for a bit. I mean, you can't really build a gigantic empire off $300,000, right? It's not as if they're asking for $300 million. And what I contrast that with is I remember when Donald Trump was 28 years old, I think he borrowed about $400 million to buy which was at the time the largest hotel in all of Manhattan at 28 years old. You know, and so I just think that those sorts of contrasts should be highlighted because that's what we're fighting against. And I'd like to speak to Taylor Woods, who is the CEO of Ashtay Products. I'm very proud of Taylor because, number one, we have a daughter named Taylor. Number two, I know that her parents had to really trust her to pass the keys to the family business. So Taylor, I'd like to ask your thoughts, you know, as a CEO, as a person who's kind of watched this and seen your parents in this battle, what do you think is really going on? Like, what do you think? I mean, when you talk about this flip the script sort of thing, and suddenly at first it's okay, then it's not okay. What do you think was really going on that caused them to just change their behavior like that?
Honestly, from being there, I was there that summer for the entire process, right? So in May, it was either end of April or beginning of May, when all the politicians and city councilmen came through the building and gave my parents an award. And then they mentioned, oh, well, we have this fund where we have extra money sitting aside earmarked for economic development or something like that. And you guys are hiring all these people. You guys should apply, right? So hearing that, witnessing that, the invitation, my parents did not know the city had 300,000, right? That was, the city told them, hey, we have 300,000, right? So that's how that came about in May. And then I was there for the first city council meeting in June where they approved it. And I'm like, okay, yes, this is great. Like, I was in college at the time. I was majoring in journalism and mass communication. So this was, you know, the whole TV thing. Okay, we started rocking and rolling. We had Kim Fields, Smokey Norfolk, Dorian Wilson. We had so many different people in the building and we were just filming. And I mean, it was great. So much creativity and a lot of people joined in from the community to make the show happen. And then I remember my mom, she just started to get really, really worried because she's like, I haven't heard back from them. Since they said yes, she's like, I haven't heard back from them. I haven't received the money. We're filming, we have to pay these people, right? And she's like, I haven't heard back from them. She just started to get really, really worried. And a few weeks went by, still hadn't received any money, still hadn't heard anything back from the city again. And then they called another city council meeting for us to be there. And I remember, I think it was my mom and I, we went. My dad wasn't there. I don't remember why.
He had surgery.
Oh, yeah, for the hernia, yeah. So yeah, we went. And we did not know what we were walking into, but I feel like my mom kind of knew something was up. So we went, and sure enough, they said that, I remember they said they did not know that the loan was in a third lien. And it was like, how did you not know when you spent the past 4 to 6 weeks literally doing due diligence, like the city attorneys, all of your staff, like you've looked up documents, you have property records, you have tax returns, you have every single piece of information on these two people that you could legally have access to, and then some, right? So how do you claim that you did not know you were in a third lien, right? So it was very, very obvious that this had nothing to do with the fact that it was a third lien. And even looking at previous situations in the city of Greensboro where they've given money, not even loans, but just given grants or given buildings or given tax credits or given a loan for 1.5 million and then forgive it a year later. It's just like, does it really matter that it's in third lane, or is it that they're not white? Because that's the only explanation that makes sense.
Well, let me jump in and ask you, and everybody who's watching, I'm speaking with the Woods family. They run Ashtay Products Inc., and they're dealing with a really interesting situation down in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'd like to ask you, Mr. Woods, first of all, just so you know, people on this platform don't just watch and observe, they participate. And I already have people in here saying, how do we support this business, right? Because a great way to get financing that's far better than a loan is when you have even more customers. What is the website people can go to buy your products? Is it ashtay.com?
Yeah, ashtay.com, ASHTAE.com.
Okay. All right. So you know what? And it's so funny. Our moderators are so good that Dual has already put your website in the thread. And Dual, if you can actually pin that to the top, I don't know if you're able to pin it. If you can, I'll try to pin it. But I really think that sort of financing is great as well. And I'm telling you, the folks here are not. They don't just talk. They actually do. They follow through. That's what we do around here. And so everybody in here in the chat, please promise me, give me a yes, a verbal confirmation in the chat right now that you will go to ashtay.com and at least consider making a purchase on their platform. You don't have to do it, but at least give them a chance. Go take a look at the product and make a decision there. That way, you can get some revenue from coming into the platform. The other question, so Mr. Woods, I'd like to ask you this. In terms of what you are looking for at this stage. I mean, you've been through a lot, years, your family has dealt with this for 6 years. I mean, being in court for years and years and years is no fun. I've been on both sides. I've been in legal battles where I was sued and had to deal with stuff for years. I've had to sue somebody else and dealt with that for years. I hate it. I just hate it all. It's not fun. It just, and I want everybody that's listening, pay attention to this. Before you think about, pursuing legal action, make sure you just are fully aware of what you are in for, because it gets ugly, it gets real messy. It's no fun to, I've been in situations where I've even lost friends and I've been sad because once lawyers get involved, you can't even call the person up anymore and say, hey, let's work this out. It's hard to do that, right? Because everything that's said becomes legal now. And so I hate the court. I'm just going to say that. I don't think that's a great place to get problem solved half the time. So what, at this point, what resolution would work for you in terms of getting justice? Because from what I understand, you've appealed things and they're still not hearing you in the legal system. So what can make you whole, as a family, as an entrepreneur?
Well, I think the biggest thing, Boyce, that can make us whole is to know that this is a travesty in anyone's eyes. We have appealed to the Fourth Circuit, and this is our second time going through this Fourth Circuit. The first time, as you can look, and you can actually, the opinion was written by the judges to show that there is explicit bias, and this is not plausible that these people who brought the resources to the table should be denied. So the Fourth Circuit agreed, and on September the 11th, the Fourth Circuit will hear again, because they sent it back to the local judge or district judge. He threw it out again. So now the Fourth Circuit, this is our second appeal. So as you know, it's very expensive to appeal something, but I can really see that. As I told my wife and my daughters, I said, listen, I'm not fighting for me. I'm fighting for your grandkids and your great grandkids and all those kids out there who look like you and me, who don't have the resources to fight this thing, because racism and discrimination is real and economic injustice is real. To make us whole, do the right thing. And the right thing don't seem right when you're trying to fight. But think about it. We qualified, and we have lost a tremendous amount of time, money, heartache, and we're saying Greensboro needs to stand up and do the right thing, and they know what the right thing is. We were not coming to people begging. We were faced with a bold display of discrimination and economic injustice. It shouldn't be happening when you have a city where the sit-in movement, right there, the Woolworths counter, happened in the city of Greensboro, right on the campus of North Carolina A&T State University and Bennett College. These things shouldn't be happening 60 years later. So for us, the fight is for once in our lives, do what is right in anyone's eyes, that the people should say, this is not right, and these people should not have gone through all of this when they met and exceeded the requirements that were put before them.
So Mrs. Woods, let me ask you, what toll has this, taken on you in terms of, just dealing with being in court for all these years, and you mentioned that they dragged your name through the mud and stuff like that. How has that made you feel, and what have you personally felt as you kind of gone through this?
Say the last sentence again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, what have you personally felt as you've gone through this, just this long ordeal? How much of a toll has this taken on you and your family, and things like that?
Ooh, I don't even know if I can really kind of word it. I'm gonna try not to get emotional. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God has been with us every day, because this fight has been so big that if God had not been in my life, my marriage would have been over. Because many times when you're fighting on every side, you're fighting, and here we are, we have this little hair care company, and we're selling products. We're working 80, 90 hours a week to keep things going, to keep the staff, to stay positive. It's easy to turn on the person that's in the fight with you. And through the grace of God, He kept us together as husband and wife, has brought us closer together. But it's hard to take the high road when, because we're still in this suit, I can't talk about the retaliation that we've experienced. I can't talk about those. And I am prayerful that down the line, a few years from now, we can truly tell the whole story, because it's a very big story, and at the end, God Almighty is going to get all the glory, because He has truly, we should have, not only did we lose our American Express, we should have lost our building, our home should have been foreclosed, but it was God. I mean, God kept us like you would not believe. And he sent us people to help us. And we kept selling Ashtray products. It's been through this little company. And Ashtray Products is not a conglomerate. We're a $2 million company. I mean, how do you fight Goliath with a company that only does $2 million a year if it's not with God? That's the only way. That's the only explanation that I can give you of how it's been. And it's just, I didn't want to be on this Zoom because I knew I could not be emotional. It's just, it's a burden that we've been carrying for 6.5 years, 7 years. And we have chosen to put all of this in God's hands, believing that God will send us the appointed people at the appointed time. And we have never publicly spoken badly about the city because the people in this community are good people. It is the people in charge, the people with the power that are corrupted and are absolute racists. And that's who we're fighting. It's not the citizens of Greensboro.
So I would like to finish with the future, Miss Taylor. So you see the passion of your parents, and they are so intelligent. I know this because children are a product of the parents, you know, and I will say, you know, so I would like to ask you before. I don't want to say anything because I want you to do the talking because I have a lot on my mind. So as you take over as the CEO of this company, and this is your family legacy, this is you know, this great journey that you're beginning, and you see your parents in this battle. How does that shape, you know, your perception of the significance of what you're taking on and what you're keeping alive, the legacy that you're preserving? What goes through your mind when you think about that?
For me, I think it re-emphasizes the importance of continuing the legacy and to continue growing what we're doing. Despite everything that happened, despite everything that is still happening, I have to be the one to really, really focus on still pushing it forward, still keeping things moving, still being innovative, still trying to find new ways to reach new customers, still going through the motions of trying to, you know, continue with success. It's a little bit of a minefield in the sense of access to capital, but I will say, you know, with everything that the SBA has provided in the midst of Corona, that has definitely been a blessing. But had it not been for that, you know, it's definitely a minefield. I know in the back of my mind, even though I read about, for example, we get involved in real estate, right? And there are city-owned properties that I personally would love to buy, right? City-owned land, city-owned houses in areas that are being gentrified. Oh, I would love to buy them. But me personally, knowing what my parents have been through with the city of Greensboro, I've never pursued it because I am scared, to be quite honest. So that's what I mean by it's a little bit of a minefield. In certain areas, I am afraid to step this way or that way because of their experiences. Not to say I'm not pushing things forward, but there are certain steps to the left or right that I'm not going to take. I understand that they are fighting for me and they're fighting for future generations, and I truly, truly appreciate it. But I cannot say that I personally have the same strength to go through what they're going through. And if I were to, you know, pursue that or pursue this, and it were to be up against the city or up against systematic racism, I don't know if I could do what they're doing, because seeing this, watching this for 7 years, I don't know if I have the type of strength.
Well, I totally get that. I remember when I was at Syracuse University, and I dealt with racism there, and I'm not even going to talk about that story. People can Google it if they want to look it up. And it became a big deal. It became a big fight. It was very public. It was very messy. And I had a case. I know it. I knew it. They knew it. Everybody knew it. And I'm not exactly the person that's going to go out quietly. I'm like y'all. You're not going to molest me in the dark. Like I'm going to tell I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs. And I'm glad I did. But, I remember when I was thinking about filing the lawsuit, I did research on other professors that had filed suits, against universities. And I read about a black man in 1976 whose credentials were actually better than mine. And he did everything he was supposed to do. He was just like you all, he'd done everything, how it is. They tell you what hurdles you're supposed to jump. And we break our backs to jump the hurdles. Then you jump the hurdles. They say, oh, sorry, it's still not good enough. So this happened to him, and he happened to have occurred at my alma mater, University of Kentucky. And so I became really interested in this story, and I read about the fact that he had a case, he went to court, and what really got me was they said that he won the case 32 years later, right before he died.
Oh my God.
And after I read that, I said, okay, you know what? I got better things to do, but I get, and I definitely get what you're saying in terms of, that hesitation. Why would you want to deal with the city or trust the government if your parents are getting, this kind of horrible backlash? And so what I want to do actually is I hope that I can do this as a favor to your family. I want everybody in the chat to just, first of all, know, and please type in the chat the URL for this company, for this family's company, ashtae.com, ASHTAE.com, and give me a verbal confirmation in the chat. Verbally tell me right now that you won't just talk about it. You're going to go to the website and take a look at their products. And if you see something you can use, buy it. That I think the greatest solution to a lack of access to capital is supporting Black businesses, because having more great customers is a great way to have all the money that you need to do everything that you want to do. So the best thing we can do to help is to go to ashtae.com, ASHTAE.com, and do a stimulus on the family. Let's do a Black stimulus package for this family to show them that other people are not controlling this. We got this. We got this. God's got this. This strong Black family has got this. And I know you all are going to emerge victorious from this. I really like the fact that you're continuing the fight, because as Mr. Woods mentioned, a lot of people are going to benefit from this. Unfortunately, it may not be y'all, right? Because the price you paid is huge already, right? But that's what we do, right? We sacrifice now, and then other people benefit later. And I think that the fact that you're fighting so hard, and even us talking on this platform, because I know we got folks down in North Carolina who are going to take this to certain folks, and they're going to talk about this now. That's going to at least make them think twice before they do this to somebody else. Yeah. And I think that's the great contribution that you've made. So I just want to say thank you for sharing your story. I really appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Dr. Boyce. And they can look up this case at B&T versus the City of Greensboro. It shows the opinion written by the Fourth Circuit judges, so that they can research and see for themselves that the Fourth Circuit did support us, and we're going back before the Fourth Circuit in September the 11th. So we're asking for their prayers and their support in our efforts to continue to fight injustice and discrimination and racism.
All right. Well, I wish you the very best. Shoot me a text message. Let me know how it goes in court, and also let me know if I know my folks will show up to your website. So I hope it's ready, because they might crash it. Because I'm telling you, when we talk about supporting Black business, ain't nobody around here just about talk. Like we got to do it. Talk with your actions, right? Because I believe that if we support our own, I think that we can get all the capital that we need. And then if the banks eventually come around and start doing the right thing, then that will be just a bonus on top of what we're doing for self. So I applaud you. I'm so proud of your family. I'm so impressed and inspired by this, actually. Just the legacy your daughter's taking over. I know your other daughter is very intelligent. She's a big wig at Google, and I just think that's awesome, right? And everybody who's watching, pay attention. This is what Black excellence looks like. This is what family business and legacy looks like. This is what greatness looks like. So thank you very much to the Woods family. I appreciate it. You'll have a good day, okay?
Thank you.
Love, Boyce. Appreciate everything.
For sure. All right, everybody. One more time, ashtae.com, ASHTAE.com, ASHTAE.com. Please go to the website, check out their products. Also, don't forget on the 23rd at 8 p.m. we're doing Black Movie Night. We're building a Black movie industry. I don't know if y'all know about this or not, but we're building we're just trying to take over the world. So we're actually supporting Black filmmakers, independent Black films, and our films are being seen by millions of people. And we do Black Movie Night. It's free. It's going to be this Thursday at 8 p.m. You can register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. So take care, everybody. Have a good day, and thank you again to the Woods family. God bless all of you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks a million.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.